And we're back for another episode. In this episode I'm going to be doing the Starlight Celebration quests for 2014. It's a bit late, but it's Christmas Day today. I finally have some time to get it done. So, as always, hello from Mithrie. And I've come to the Mikoto Amphitheatre here in Old Gridania, and I need to talk to Zavlian to do the quest. So the quest is called A Starlight Miracle. So it says Zvalian, a correspondent for the Raven, seeks an adventurer to help ensure the smooth running of this year's Starlight Celebration. It said this quest is available for a limited time only, and it will give me the Starlight Tunic. So let's see what he has to say. So he says, an adventurer, marvellous. The name's Zvalian, and I scratched the parchment for a little publication called The Raven. Might I enlist your aid in a matter concerning the Starlight Celebration? You are familiar with the festival and its origins, yes? Ishgardian's night rescuing poor orphans from the frozen fingers of winter. The principal hero of the tale, a snow-beard captain, is often referred to as the Saint of Nimia, for it was by his unorthodox order that the wayward waifs were given food and shelter. The compassionate acts of this saint and his soldiers are now honoured by an annual tradition wherein gifts are given to younglings during the coldest days of the year. Which brings us to this year's celebration. As it is the custom, the Starlight Celebration and her colleagues have donned scarlet appeal, reminiscent of the jackets worn by those charitable knights, the saints' little helpers, so to speak. Thus attired, they plan to distribute gifts to every child who writes a letter to Nimia, patron goddess of celestial wonders. A fine seasonal piece this shall make. For I, and proceeded to publish an article that brought news of this wonderful event to folks across the realm. Since then, however, it appears that the celebrant has encountered some unexpected difficulties. Would you be so kind as to offer your assistance to Garanij in Lavender Beds, so that the festivities might proceed as planned? Cool. So we need to go to Lavender Beds, which is the... It says to complete the quest, A Starlight Miracle, you may visit any residential ward within the Lavender Beds. And that actually was fixed in a hot fix this morning, because before this would only work within the first districts of the residential area, as in the original wards 1 to 8, whereas now they've updated it that it will work in the subdivisions as well. So anyway, I'm now running to the Aephorite Shard, because if you've done the quest, which I'll link in the description, then you can actually teleport directly to the wards from here rather than having to go anywhere else. So let's do that now. So we say here, Aephorite, residential district, go to specified wards, ward 1, whatever. So let's select that. So now in Lavender Beds. Okay, so now we need to go to talk to this person who's right here. So let's see what this quest is about. It's pretty cool to bring in quests to the residential areas, just to bring more life into this sort of area, because these zones, unless you're visiting a house, tend to be kind of dead, so I guess I want to bring more people here. So, yes, I am Garanij, the Starlight Celebrant. Master Zvalian sent you to me, did he? Then pray allow me to explain our dilemma. As you have no doubt heard, our plan for this year's event is to pass out presents to every sweet-cheeked child who composes a letter to Nimia, be they from a northern land or a southern sea, at East End City or West End Town. An ambitious endeavour to be certain. Once the Raven printed word of our activities in its publication, however, we were contacted by an anonymous supporter, a generous benefactor who offered to fund the entire celebration, gifts and all. Originally, our idea was to have the little ones place their messages at the foot of the Starlight Sentinel we erected in each city. Our scarlet-clad helpers would then retrieve the letters and hand presents to the waiting younglings. Simple. Unfortunately, the wee darlings didn't know which of the seasonal trees in each city was our tree, and now even the decorated bows found within Adventurer's estate have become receptacles for misplaced mail. As you might imagine, this has transformed a fairly straightforward task into a ward-wide marathon. And as eager as we are to plaster a joyous smile on every child's face, we simply cannot hope to cover so much ground with so few helpers. We are in need of a Starlight miracle. Okay, so let's complete the quest and get the Starlight tunic. So, just for the sake of the event, let's actually wear it and see what it looks like. So, it's kind of cute. So, cool. Let's go to the next quest. So the next quest is called Starlight Savings, which will give me a green fallen star. It says, a token of appreciation presented to you by a Starlight Celebrant Saint's Little Helper. So it says, our Guardian is not so subtly hinting that your help is needed to save this year's Starlight Celebration. So this quest is available for a limited time only, so let's continue. So she says, you'll be the miracle we need. Oh, thank you, dear adventurer. With your assistance in gathering the messages scattered across the lavender beds, we can be sure that all those adorable letter writers will receive the gifts they were promised. Rather than send you trampling directly into the gardens for your adventuring fellows, however, I suggest we start you off somewhere close. The Starlight Sentinel we placed here in Yanu Pa recently had a small visitor. Would you be so kind as to check the base of its trunk for messages to Nimia? Oh, and do be so good as to dress yourself in Little Helper attire while you go about Starlight business. Maintaining the fantasy is of utmost importance. 'Tis all for the children, you understand. Cool, so let's now do that. Where are we looking? Maybe it's around here somewhere. So let's see, say seasonal shop, so let's see. Green fallen star. Fair enough. I'm not actually 100% sure what Starlight, the different stars even do. Oh, okay, so I can get like, we can get different types of Christmas trees and stuff like that if you have enough. So anyway, let's now do this. Cutscene. So it says, wow, are you really one of the Saint's Little Helpers? You've come to collect my letter, haven't you? I waited and waited, but I wasn't sure if anyone would come. That one there is mine. No other children came to this tree, so I got it all to myself. You'll make sure my message is delivered to the goddess, won't you? Well, I guess I should let you go now. Bye-bye, Little Helper. Awesome. So let's now deliver the letter. So let's see. So it says, welcome back, Mithrie, is it? Do you have the letter? Yes, I do. So it says, letter to the spinner. It says, written by a child of Eorzea, this quaint message details the material wishes of an innocent soul. So she says, ah, isn't that precious? This young lady has written thank you in big pink letters and drawn charming little pictures of flowers and stars. Here, you must be sure she receives her present. You should find her nearby, eagerly glancing about for the appearance of a little helper. Let's not keep the little darling waiting, shall we? Okay, so right down there. Here's a good little girl. So, oh, there you are. Was my letter good enough for a present? So let's give the lucky star. So it said, this gift was made possible by the donations of an anonymous philanthropist. It says, hooray, thank you, little helper. What's this? I found someone else's letter. Silly helper, you must have wrapped it with my gift by mistake. Here, you better make sure it gets delivered to the goddess. Cool, so let's deliver another letter. It's nice that each year that the quests are different for the same events. So it says, hello again, Mithrie. Was Was the child simply transported with joy? So let's hand over the misplaced letter. It says, how this letter to the spinner managed to find its way into a gift box is a mystery too great for even an agent of inquiry. So it says, oh dear, how did that get in there? We must remember to thank the young lady for bringing the missing message to our attention. Mithrie, did you happen to glance at the contents of this letter? Listen. There is no such thing as a Starlight miracle. If you, the saint, and the little helpers were real, you'd bring back my father. The poor thing. I too know the pain of losing a parent. Perhaps there is something we can do. Yes, I shall look into it. After all, it would not be a successful Starlight celebration if we failed to put a smile on every child's face, now would it? Otherwise, I believe you have proven yourself more than qualified to wear the scarlet of a little helper. Your continued assistance would be utmost appreciated. And not just for the lavender beds either. I am certain my colleagues abroad could also benefit from your aid, assuming you are so inclined. Okay, so let's complete the quest. So she's probably going to send us to the different towns. So it says a little help for lavender beds. So it says Garani wishes you to continue your volunteer work in lavender beds. Let's accept. So it says you wish to do more for the celebration. Wonderful. Should you wish to focus your efforts here in lavender beds, then pray speak with the little helper over yonder. A slew of errands always accompanies the festivities, and I don't know what I would do without my dedicated volunteers. For as much as I would like to shoulder the entire burden, it simply isn't possible. But let us not waste time with maudlin thoughts. We've a joyous festival to run. Okay, so let's do the next quest. So a little help missed, which is obviously the Limsa Laminza housing area. So it says, Garani wishes to volunteer your services to the little helper in Mist. Okay, accept. So as I've explained, I'm not only lavender beds that suffer from too few helping hands. Your assistant with the Starlight festivities would also be most welcome in Mist. If you've the occasion to visit Limsa Laminza, might you consider sacrificing a few more moments of your time for the sake of the children? My colleagues in the Sea Gaze markets will assign you for any tasks that need doing. May Nimia bless you for your charitable soul, Mithrie. Okay. And let's now accept the last quest, which is for the Goblet, which is the Order area. So it says, Argarani wishes to volunteer your services to the little helper in the Goblet. So it says, while we certainly miss your tireless efforts here in the Lavender Beds, my colleagues in the Goblet could also benefit from your presence of a dedicated volunteer. Should you happen to have business in Ordar, might you consider paying her a visit and easing her burden? You'll find your fellow little helper in the brimming heart amongst the forest of Starlight Sentinels. Don't you just adore how the seasonal decorations transform our cities? Okay, so obviously while we're here, we're going to do Lavender Beds first. So let's go and talk to Saint's little helper. So, hello there, you must be the adventurer the celebrant mentioned. If I'm not mistaken, you've already retrieved a letter and delivered a gift, yes? Then you're quite prepared to perform the task I shall give you. For they are identical in nature. Oh, were you perhaps concerned about the contents of the presents you'll be handing out? You needn't be. They are but simply items fashioned of wood, toy bows and hairpins and the like, blessed by the hearers themselves. Okay, so let's complete. So a daily quest is now available from the little helper here in Lavender Beds. By completing this repeatable task, you'll obtain fallen stars which can be exchanged for Starlight Celebration Seasonal Goods. Cool. So let's see, the Gift of Joy. So I can decide which colour I can go for. So it says, the Saint's little helper in Lavender Bed seeks your assistance in running Starlight Celebration festivities. So it says, filled with the spirit of giving, are we? Let's set you on your task then. As you all need to do is collect a single child's message from one of the Starlight Sentinels within Lavender Beds, all while wearing the Starlight tunic, of course. As you know, there is a tree we helpers set up here in Yanupar, but there are also decorated sentinels to be found in the gardens of your fellow adventurers' estates. You should also know that the type of fallen star you receive for your efforts will depend on the sentinel from which the message is retrieved. Did we talk about fallen stars? It's simply a system we devised to reward hardworking volunteers, a type of festive currency that can be exchanged for seasonal goods. Speak with the Starlight Crier if you'd like to know more. So it says the position of Starlight Sentinels will be displayed on your mini-map. Search the residential area to pinpoint their locations. You can obtain one seasonal message at a time, so choose your sentinel wisely. Keep in mind which fallen stars are needed to purchase the seasonal goods you wish to acquire. Okay, so let's see. So there's these seasonal shops. I don't know what other shops, what else I can buy. Let's see. I want to see if there's any minions, because if there's a minion... Okay, look here, stuffed Kikirin. Because these sort of furnitures and stuff, I'm not so worried about them because I can just pick them up from the market board at a later point. But I want to just make sure that I've got minions, because I love collecting minions in the game, that's for sure. Okay, so I can get the Starlight outfit. Also this... I can get the Hori the Snowman minion, and the... Oh, the stuffed Kirin is actually a tabletop furnishing. Never mind. Okay, so there's only one. I can either buy it with 6 of the green fallen stars or 1 of each of the others. So, The premium gift bag. Okay, so I just wanted to see, like, which will I really be concerned about getting. And I probably will just get the rest of the outfit as well, including the false mustache at some point as well. So let's see how we do this. Hopefully it won't take too long to get done, because usually the events don't take that long at all. Okay, so let's give this to Saint's Little Helper. So it says, hello again, you've returned with one of the children's messages, I trust. So let's hand it over, letter to the spinner. So it says, written by a child of Gridania, this quaint message details the material wishes of an innocent soul. So it says, excellent, now comes the fun part. Take this gift and deliver it to the waiting youngling. Remember that the wee ones expect someone dressed as a little helper. Yeah. So basically just do not talk to them unless you're wearing the Starlight tunic. Okay, so the little... Here they are. So, a little helper, yay. Do you have my present? Can I have my present now? So let's hand over the lucky star. So the gift was made possible by the donations of an anonymous philanthropist. Hand over. So it says, I got a present from the goddess. Thank you, little helper. Cool. So we'll see if that's it for here, and then just come back and do this every day, give out gifts. So you return to me empty-handed. Good. I do hope the youngling enjoys the gift. Garani does so dearly love to see children smile. When I once marvelled at her dedication, the celebrant explained that her fervour grew from her troubled past as an orphan. She would spare any child the misery and loneliness she experienced, even if it meant funding the entire Starlight Celebration by washing dirty dishes at the Carline Canopy for a year. And I must admit, her intensity is quite contagious. I assume you must feel it too. Otherwise, why else would you find yourself compelled to help us again and again? Okay, so we'll get a green fallen star for this one. Cool. So basically for this one we can't do it again until the next Eorzean day. Or sorry, the next day. So I'm going to have to wait 24 hours to do this again. So let's now head to the Goblet, just for the sake of it. So let's teleport to Uldar, and then use the Aephorite to go to the residential area. Cool. So that's Aephorite, residential district, specified ward, Ward 1 is fine. Let's go. So we've been doing this for about 20 minutes so far. It's really not so bad. Because I get a feeling that once I've done unlocked it in the 3 areas, then I'm pretty much done, and then just repeat it day after day. And I will hopefully be able to buy the minion by the end of the episode, and then, you know, then my primary concern with the event is done, sort of thing, because I am a minion collector at heart. Okay, so let's see. So let's see the seasonal shop, if there's anything special here. Yeah, I would assume as much, that they're all selling exactly the same exactly the same stuff. So it says, no matter what wonder awaits inside this festive sack, always remember that during the season of giving, it is the thought that counts. Okay, so this is like a random gift bag. So I guess I'll see what's in it. So, like I said, it's still after this Hooray the Snowman, or Hori the Snowman. So it says, well, it's about time you showed up. The celebrant's been promising help, but promises won't mend the holes I've worn into the soles of my boots. The task itself is hardly complicated, and you've already had a taste of what needs to be done, I hear. The only thing that's different is the gifts themselves. Here in Ordar, even the younglings can appreciate precious metals, so the Goldsmiths Guild's been busy churning out pretty trinkets by the dozen. Catch your breath and have a sit down if you need one, but don't be too long about it, eh? We're aiming for happy children here, not screeching and wailing wee ones who missed out on their Starlight presents. Okay, so let's complete. So there's a daily quest now available from the Little Helper in the Goblet. By completing this repeatable task, you will obtain fallen stars, which can be exchanged for Starlight Celebration Seasonal goods. Okay, so let's now do this for the Goblet. So it says, the Saint's Little Helper in the Goblet seeks your assistance in running the Starlight Celebration festivities. Okay, so ready to spread the festive cheer? Then let's get straight to work, shall we? Visit any of the Starlight Sentinels within the Goblet and bring back one of the children's messages, and be sure to wear your Sentinel's tunic. You never know when the younglings will be watching. So it says that the position of Starlight Sentinels will be displayed on your mini-map. Search the residential area to pinpoint their location. You can only obtain one festival message at a time, so choose your Sentinel wisely. Keep in mind that which fallen stars are needed to purchase the seasonal goods you wish to acquire. Okay, so let's see. So it says it'll be available on my mini-map, so let me see. Okay, there's that one up here. I don't know if there's any way of knowing which one is which. I wonder. Let's quick ride around to see. There's one up there, but I'm guessing these belong to people rather than anything else. Okay, so let me do this one for the sake of it. So it says I've now done it, so let's now deliver it to the Little Helper. It's nice that you can use your mouse in the housing areas now. So quickly now, let's see what you've brought. So it says letter from the spinner. Let's hand over. So it says, ah yes, a very Aldean sentiment. Would you believe some of those younglings attempt to negotiate for extra presents? So precious. Here, pray deliver this message to the merchant-to-be waiting nearby. Okay. The East End boy. So it says, hello little helper. Is this the part where you give me a present? Yes it is. Hand over. So it says, yes, I suppose this will do. Thank you. That will be all. Charming. At least he said thank you. So gift giving all taken care of. Very good. I don't know what we'd do without kind-hearted souls such as you, and our mysterious celebration funding benefactor. Even our celebrant, Aim Garani, has only met with the philanthropist agents, never face to face. All I know is that with the cost involved in running this festival, it must be a personage of considerable wealth. A bored merchant prince or princess, perhaps. I suppose in the end the reasons are less important than the results. But I detain you over long with my idle musings. I shall be here handing out tasks the entire festival through. Should you be struck by the desire to volunteer once more. Okay, so let's get a red one. So let's see. I hope it's actually a colour I actually need. Let's check. Okay, so I need a blue one and a yellow one to finish. Okay, so let's now talk to... Well, sorry, let's go to the mist, I should say. So I can teleport straight there, thankfully. That's where my FC house is. I guess we have to go to down there, yep. Okay, here's Saint Little Helper. So, here now, you're a right strapping lass, ain't ya? Nimia bless the celebrant for sending you me way. The job I've got for you ain't no different from what you've already done in the lavender beds. Collect the wee bats' letters and give them their bleeding presents. No problem, eh? Them young stamps will be grinning ear to ear when they get their blunted daggers and coral jewellery and what are ya? I love to see them little buggers happy, I do. Well, we didn't come here to listen to me wax all sentimental, now did we? Just give me an holler when you're ready to get to work. Okay, so let's complete. So it says daily quest now available from the Little Helper in the Mist. By completing the repeatable task, you'll obtain fallen stars which can be exchanged for Starlight Celebration Seasonal goods. Cool. So let's now accept the quest. So, branch rewards. It's a shame we can't actually select them, but whatever. I'm assuming that this will give me the red, given that it's... I'm assuming it was... Let me see, actually. I've got a red, I've got a green. So there's blue and yellow, so who knows how you get them. So it says, the Saints Little Helpers in the Mist seeks your assistance in running Starlight Celebration's festivities. So it says, ready to run you through the ward then, are you? Then that's a bloody good spirit, lass. 'Tis the same job as you've done before. Find yourself a Starlight Sentinel and collect one of them adorable little imp messages. And don't forget to wear your bleeding tunic, alright? You know, the bright, bloody red one. So it says the position of Starlight Sentinels will be displayed on your mini-map. Search the residential area to pinpoint their location. You can obtain only one seasonal message at a time, so choose your Sentinel wisely. Keep in mind which fallen stars are needed to purchase the Sentinel goods you wish to acquire. Okay, so I need to think this through. So, is there any way of this? Well, this is a yellow one. Okay, so I think I need a yellow. You know, because I've got red and whatever. This is yellow, so let me get this one. Cool. So then that will leave me after with just blue, I guess, if I want to finish and get my minion. So it says, back now, are you? Where's me tear-jerking message then? So let's hand it over. So aye, that's the one. That's just lovely. Won't me brutish hearted do? Right time for some gift giving. Here, take this to the wee bugger waiting over yonder. Here's an East End boy. So, hey, over here, me, give the toy to me. So let's hand it over. So this festival is the best, thank you. So it says, handed out your gift and brought a child festive joy and all that, have you? Good work, good work. Get a chip off your old saint's block. Speaking of the old saint, Guarani said she met a white-bearded bloke what was wearing Starlight garb when she was but a wee lass herself. She was weeping over a special ring she'd lost and something or sort, and this saint-like fella gave her a new one to replace it. Cheered her right up, she said. Sometimes kindness finds you when you least expect it. I'd thought this world a bloody cruel and lonely place, till I met decent folk like you and Anne Garanij. And now I'm getting all bleeding emotional again. Sod off then. You've done your part for the now. Maybe I'll see you back for more work afore the celebration's over and done, eh? That's the yellow one. Cool. So it says, you've contributed to the Starlight Celebration in every residential district. Report to Argarani in the Lavender Beds. Cool, so let's now return to Gridania, and then I'll teleport straight back to Lavender Beds. I'm hoping that I'll be able to choose the blue, because it's the last one I need. So let's see. Mithrie, residential area, specified ward, select, go. I've done a lot of crafting lately, that's why my bags are so full. Here she is. So let's see the quest. So the quest is called Going the Extra Smile, and it will give me the Starlight Sugarloaf hat. So it says, Giorgirani has another favour to ask you. Mithrie, my little helpers from across the Eorzea have been most pleased with your timely assistance. I knew from the moment we met that a gentle soul lurked beneath your steely adventurer exterior. Might be asking too much to prevail upon your generosity for spirit once more. As it happens, I've been able to track down the child who demanded the return of his dear departed father in his letter to the spinner. His name is Timothy. I know this might not end up being the easiest of conversations, but I wonder if you might go to him and see what happened. Though I wish to talk with him myself, he will, I imagine, feel more comfortable speaking with a little helper rather than the Starlight Celebrant. Hurry now, Mithrie, and you should find Timothy yet lingering near Keko's amphitheatre in Old Gridania. Cool, so I'm now going to return to Old Gridania. Talk to the ferry skipper, leave the residential district. Oh, never mind, it took me to Central Shroud. I was hoping it'd take me back to Gridania. Silly me. I do feel that they should have added the weather effects not only to the residential areas, but to, like, the whole of Eorzea. Okay, so I don't need to run, I can just use a teleport. So Aethernet, amphitheatre. It's days like today I really miss my old friends, like I miss Honey Jade. I wish he was here with me on this video, but that's life, I guess. So let's now talk to him. He says, a little helper, what do you want with me? So let's hand over the misplaced letter. Hand over. So it says, yes, I wrote that letter, and I'm not sorry. You, the saint, the goddess, you're all fakes and liars. You want me to bring a gift, then bring me back my father. I've gone and lost bracelets he made for me, and now I've naught left to remember him by. Okay, here's a motherly matron. So it says, pray excuse my son's poor manners. If I may ask, what was in the letter you showed him? So let's hand over the misplaced letter. Hand over. So, I see. Perhaps it would help if I told you something of our troubles. As was the case for so many, the calamity devastated our family. We lost our home, our livelihood, and Timothy's dear father. We only arrived here in Gridania after a long and difficult journey. 'Twas during that journey that Timothy dropped his treasured bracelets. My husband was a goldsmith, you see, and they were the last pieces that he ever crafted. You can understand how their loss might affect my boy. With everything else destroyed in the fires, it was as if he had lost his father all over again. I fear Timothy will never smile again. The bracelets? We were attacked by beasts on the road, and I assumed the things slipped from his wrists as we fled for our lives. I dared not allow him to return in search of them. If I recall correctly, the attack came not long after we entered the Central Shroud, but before we arrived at Benchbank Meadows. I'm not sure of the exact location. Hello. So let's now go back to Lavender Beds. So go to the Aetheryte Plaza first, and then I can go to the residential area. Residential district, go to specified ward, select yes. I always try and take part in all of these events. I don't think I've missed any since The Realm Reborn came out. It's just nice to do it, see some more of the story, see a bit more of the world. And they do put a lot of effort into this, so really want to thank the developers for doing that. So it says, welcome back, Mithrie. Were you able to learn aught that might allow us to ease the poor child's grief? So, I understand only too well how the loss of such treasured mementos might dampen his spirits. Of course, our course seems clear. What you say, little helper, will you brave the wilds of the Central Shroud and look for these bracelets? I knew I could count on you. 'Tis the season for goodwill, after all. If, as the boy mother says, the mementos were dropped on the road to Benbranch Meadows, then I would suggest you begin your search in the vicinity of the mirror planks. The spinner's luck be with you. Okay, so the mirror planks, I'm not 100% sure what that is. Oh, so it's just outside. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to again talk to the ferry skipper, leave the residential area, and it'll take me right there. So the first time it was a mistake to go there, but this time it's actually right to do it. Cool, here's the destination. A lifetime ago, these were actually difficult to kill. So you find no sign of the bracelets. Okay, so let's now look for the next location. Someone doing botany nearby. Still no sign of the bracelets. Let's continue. Well, I guess that's the final destination since that person's watching a cutscene. It's kind of nice doing the event a bit late because then there's not a million people here trying to do the same thing. So, aha, I finally caught up with you. So why? It's been simply ages since we, is that to say, how do you do? I am but a humble gold and hearted pilgrim wandering the wilds. No, you need not speak a word. Your plight is known to me. I have here the very bracelets you sought to find. Of course, I'm sure you're wondering, how did this ruggedly handsome man come to learn of my noble quest? Well, the moment my eye was caught by the glint of precious metal in the grass beside the road, I immediately discerned the tale behind this treasure's abandonment. A wandering pilgrim is wise indeed in the ways of the world. I took up the bracelets, damaged as they were, and repaired them, adding only a bare minimum of subtle flair and daring elegance to the basic design. I then went in search of a little help with the delivery. These reborn bangles should bring the grin back to little Timothy's face, don't you agree? Take them now, take them, and be sure to preserve the magic by wearing your festive attire. Thank God he's not in his underwear. So for anyone who doesn't know, that's actually Hildebrand's father. And he is very, very funny. The way he treats Hildebrand is just hilarious. Cool, so let's go back to the amphitheater. So the Aethernet amphitheater. Oh, it's you again. Why do you keep bothering me? What? You found my bracelets? So let's hand over the brassy bangles. So it says, well, its design, color, decoration, and practicality all leave something to be desired. No one can deny the talent that went into crafting this unique armwear. So, I knew you were a liar. These aren't the ones my father... Wait. Where did you get these bangles? I've seen them in a book my father had. It was filled with pictures of some famous goldsmith's masterpieces. He always said that one day he hoped to be skilled enough to craft like that. So you're certain they are the bracelets my father made, and the man with the white beard and scarlet tunic found and fixed them for me? But that would mean, great spinner, you must have met the Saint of Nimia. Who else would know about the bangles my father wanted to make? I can't believe he's really real. Thank you so much, little helper. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Cool, so let's now go back to the lavender beds. And I think it feels like that's the end of the quest line as well, so that's pretty cool. I do like these sort of mini stories and mini things that they bring in just for the sake of a seasonal event. It's nothing to do with anything in A Realm Reborn, not really, but it's just a nice distraction, really, just a change of pace. And I really wanted to make sure that I got it done before the event finishes, so... Here she is, so let's talk to her. So, Mithrie, you're back. How did you fare with young Timothy? That is most heartening to hear. His mother must be thrilled to see him smiling again. And this talk of a wandering pilgrim sounds awfully familiar. When I was but a girl, I too encountered an itinerant gentleman who matches your description of his snowy-haired senior. When he found me crying over a special ring I had lost, he raised me out of my despair by gifting me with a new band he had forged himself. One moment of kindness shaped my future, I believe. It kindled in me a desire to bring joys to others, in the same way as that nameless saint brought joy to me. Could it be that the pilgrims we met were in fact the same person, perhaps the Saint of Nimia himself? Now that's a wonderful idea. With the magic of the Starlight Celebration all around us, I can almost believe it to be true. Either way, we cannot leave the bringing of joy to the saint alone. Come, adventurer, here there are yet gifts to give and smiles to find. Let's now complete the quest. And I got the achievement Smile High, which is pretty cool. And you do get these seasonal achievements as well. And they don't really mean much, they don't really give much, but it's just the fact that it's just a mark of saying that these are all the previous seasonal events you've done. So like there isn't a incomplete list that you eventually have to finish or anything. These just appear while you do them. So the more you do, these are like trophy achievements really. So let's try this hat on. So that's it. So, unfortunately today I won't be able to buy my minion just yet. I'll have to wait until I get a blue fallen star, which I'll get tomorrow if the event's still running, and then I'll buy my minion. So, anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie, and have a very Merry Christmas. Goodbye.